Hey everybody, Jason Hawes here. So right now, Jim is busy doing interviews. So I am going to take you for a quick tour before I take you inside of Casey Cottage. Casey Cottage. Now Casey's Cottage, it's in Mexico Point State Park. It's pretty much at the main point of it. And it's got a really interesting history when it comes down to it. So here's the walkway. You can see some of the grounds. Hopefully it's not too windy because we're right on Lake Ontario. So it gets really windy here. And it's like right at the mouth of the Little Salmon River where it feeds into Ontario. So Casey's Cottage is the remains of the old Orville Hungerford's elegant Mexico Point clubhouse, 1906. Now, if you walk down the path, you see it says bathhouse, beach, Casey's Cottage, restrooms. Now it's a park. So you see some of the pictures right here. They got a lot of these statues. Joseph Bryant was a Mohawk Indian who served the British as a guide. William Casey, he was a college professor of sociology at Columbia College, spent summers at Mexico Point Club in the 1920s and 30s when the club switched from a horse-drawn carriage house let's see, that's when he ended up transforming it, building a little house, a little cottage, into like a medieval type manor house. We're going to show you that. Now, straight ahead, you can see like some of these rocks here. That's the old foundation area of what used to be the Mexico Point Clubhouse. You can see the old drawn chains right here, straight ahead of me. Now, Casey's Cottage, you can see directly ahead. And we're going to be heading into there and checking it out. A whole lot of claims come from that location. But look at these chains. These chains are where they would bring the horse-drawn carriage right in. So they'd pick you up from the train station and bring you down here. So you can see the foundation of the place right here. Sorry if it's windy, but it is what it is. Now, if you look over there, you can see Casey's Cottage. We'll be going in there in a little while. And it's an interesting place. These picnic tables right here are part of the bathroom. And the bathroom used to be a boxing ring. And there's claims out here as well. We're gonna have to see if we can investigate it because it's really windy, so we're gonna have to deal with a lot of contamination issues. But there's claims of banging and things like that here, as if somebody's hitting the floor or getting knocked out. We have full access. They've shut down the entire park for us. Take you down near the water, show you what we're up against. I mean, again, this is a big picnic area. A lot of people come here to do events, like outside events and things. Look at that. Now, it's said that this is one of the most beautiful sunsets in the country. Lake Ontario is under heavy stress. I used to fish this lake when I was a kid. We used to do the salmon fishing, salmon run through Pulaski and Camden. And it runs right out into here on Ontario. It's a whole lot of needless information, right? So Mr. Casey was a professor of sociology. And they also used to bring a lot of their students and art students up here and have them design things and do woodwork, everything else. You see the cottage directly in front of me. Try to get you an outside view of the property. I was just talking with one of the ladies who runs this property, and they were telling me about shadows and objects moving and being moved and put in different locations and voices, a lot of things like that. But they were also telling me just recently they had elemental activity. Now, I don't know if you believe in elemental activity. It's considered nature spirits. But, I mean, if there was a place to have elemental activity, I think this would be it. You're out in the woods, right on the water. And they said that they had to do some different things to get the elemental out. So, kind of interesting. All right, so Casey's Cottage, formerly the Carriage House for Mexico Point Club, where horses and carriages were housed to bring guests from the train station in the 20s and the 30s. When the club switched to motorized vehicles, Dr. William Casey, Columbia University professor, asked permission to transform the building into a medieval manor house. So, the student artist William Casey was extremely popular with his students, who frequently voted his class the most valuable of their college curriculum. He invited several students each summer to come and spend the summer at Mexico Point to enjoy the cool breezes and relaxed living. In exchange, they had to work on the artwork inside the cottage. They carved and painted the figures that Bischof designed. Bischof was actually a woodworker as well, and often added designs of their own. It is clear that many decorations in the cottage that is now the work of many artists working together in comradeship and appreciation for the period they were depicting. Severin Bischof was the gentleman's name. Severin Bischof was an artist trained as a woodcarver in Germany. So you can read it all right there. Look at this place. And again, I mean, look at the surrounding area. It's beautiful. There's a caretaker here, so you can't just come here. There's a caretaker here who takes care of the property, lives right next door. I have a feeling we're going to have some rodent activity tonight. All right, so here we go. Welcome to Casey's Cottage in Mexico Point, New York. Casey's Cottage. Your Casey's Cottage? Oh, that's a crappy place. This place is wild.
It's such a unique place. I mean, it's got a creepiness, but also a really kind of neat and artisticness to it. It's really, really cool.
It feels so much like a hunting cottage when you walk in here.
Yeah, it's got a hunting cabin feel to it for sure.
And we got all these statues, and they're put in here because they were getting damaged by people outside.
Yeah, each one of them has a particular vulnerable spot on it that's been broken by people abusing them outside.
So this one, somebody hanging from his arm.
This one, her foot was broken off.
Yeah. This one, they're hanging from his arm. Yeah. Jeez.
This right here is Dr. Casey with one of his books. And that's apparently his likeness.
Wow. Well, I mean, here's a picture of him. So,
yeah,
it is pretty damn close.
One of the things you notice as we walk through here, in addition to the uniqueness of the decor, there's this beautiful Tiffany-style stained glass that was put in throughout here, and it's been preserved, which is just phenomenal, because this stuff is, they don't make this anymore, at least not to this quality, and it's throughout the cabin.
All right. I can see she was broken there.
They broke her serving tray. She represents one of the maids that served at the hotel, which on the property originally
That was the foundation I showed you outside.
Yeah.
It was originally the hotel.
And it burned down, I think, 3 separate times. And after the third time it burned down, they just didn't rebuild it, which I think was 1956. I might be off by a year or two, but right around there.
And then Dr. Casey, yeah, actually convinced them to allow him to be able to build this medieval manor on the property. And that's what it's considered, right? Medieval manor.
Yeah. So this was originally, this building, the shell of it anyway, was originally the carriage house for the hotel. And Dr. Casey convinced I think it was the state of New York to allow him to convert it into a summer home, is what he did. And he wanted it to replicate a medieval manor.
And over there where I showed you earlier, it used to be a boxing gym and all that stuff, where the bathrooms are. All right, here's another statue, but they stole his fishing pole and broke some other things, his hand off and stuff. So he's in here. It's so funny because you look at this, and this would be like the outside of the house. But no,
they call this, what we just walked through here, they call this the moat. It's basically a porch, basically an enclosed covered porch. That's why this looks like an exterior here. But the staff that maintains it and cares for it calls it the moat.
Now, this pretty much was just a men's kind of club, right?
Yeah, Dr. Casey,
really
I don't know why. I don't really understand the history behind it, but he created a men's club up here, and a lot of the meetings would take place in this cottage.
Look at these epic chairs.
You know what? I didn't clean up my mess.
Oh, that's fine.
We just did some interviews of the staff.
And if you look at the walls, they all, look at this. Look at these walls.
Yeah, I hope it's not hard to see. I mean, we have high def here, so hopefully you can pick it up. But all of these walls have hand carvings on them of figures represented throughout medieval stories and history.
And we mean every wall.
Yeah, there basically isn't a wall space that doesn't have something on it. And if you can see the ceiling, if you look up on the 360, you'll see the ceilings all have scriptures, or not scriptures, I don't mean, they're not religious, but things written on them from historic medieval literature or historical references, things like that.
And this table over here, which is really neat, I'm going to have to put you on an angle here to see it. I mean, even this.
Even the post, yeah.
Even the post have old carvings in it. So this table over here, everything on the outline of the table, I'm going to flip you down. So,
can I take this off?
Yeah,
So
you can.
You can see the, maybe in
so look at this. It all represents things that happened here. Whether it's woodworking, carving, herding. We'll go over to the other side. Pitch up. You can see all these walls. Every single wall has carving on it. Carvings in it. I don't know how this is going to play, turning the camera like this, but we'll see. And there's Bischof. All right. So I love the ceilings. I mean, it's crazy. Thank you, Jim.
Yep.
Oh, Jim broke it.
I didn't break it.
Jim broke it.
I didn't do it.
That was broken.
Oh, now I just did it.
Jim just broke it. It was a premonition. Even the floors. You don't even realize that.
Mm-hmm.
The floors even have carvings. And then, so he used to have students come and spend time here, and the only payment he expected from them was to work here, to do some of these carvings.
Yeah, they were art students from Syracuse University. And
he was a professor at Columbia, right? Columbia.
I think it's where he started.
Yeah.
And I think he ended up working at Syracuse University, which is where he met Severin Bischof, who was an art professor. And it was Severin Bischof and he that created the design for this. And then the students came and actually put the...
And Bischof was actually trained in woodworking in Germany. So
That's right.
Check this out. Let's go upstairs. Neat little setup upstairs. I'll show you is if somebody was in the house downstairs, the layout up here is all these doors to these bedrooms could be closed. And the way it's set up is you could walk through every room, but never out here in the hallway. So you never had to walk out here, but you can do a full circle around this whole upstairs. And I'll show you. So if you start, we'll start in this room. You know, we'll go this way. How about that?
You go counterclockwise,
We'll
you
go
rebel.
Counterclockwise.
You rebel.
Chaos, chaos. I mean, little bathroom area, which, so, okay, here, if you look, oh, here's one of the boxers, Carmen Basilio, world welterweight champion. They boxed here. See, that's actually some of the outside ring right there. Right there is Dr. Casey
and Severin Bischof.
Oh yeah,
Bischof.
Yep. And playing checkers in here. It's the layout of the property.
These are some neat photographs of the inn that was here that, again, was burnt and rebuilt 3 times. And you saw when Jason was walking around outside how close we are to the shores of Lake Ontario.
I went all the way up to it, yeah. So again, you could walk through that area. It's closed off right now. And that would bring you around the back side of the fireplace. And it would bring you into this room through that walkway into this bedroom. Again, like I said, you could close all these doors and nobody out there in the main first floor could see you. Now this area right here, this fed up to a memorial for Dr. Casey's mother, who had passed away. Correct?
Yep.
So
look at all these posts, though, around. I mean, look how it's all embossed in relief.
yeah, it's amazing.
It is amazing.
So, and Dr. Casey's bedroom, what's up here? It's now being used for storage. So you can get a good look. Check it out. It's not a big property by any means. Be like a 20-minute investigation. I'm going to assume we're going to be dealing with rodents, squirrels, wind noise. What do you think?
Well, I think all those things are possible. I will tell you one thing, though, that I thought was really, really unique. Do you remember when we investigated the inn at Lincoln Square?
Yes.
In Gettysburg?
Yeah.
What was one of the oddest stories that we heard? And it was probably one of the oddest stories we've ever heard of claims of activity. Do you remember the phantom squirrel?
Oh, yes. Well, they have a phantom squirrel here?
They have a phantom squirrel here.
Freaking
We heard that story.
squirrel.
We said, boy, we've never heard that. Now
Yeah.
we've heard 2.
I didn't even hear that. You just told me. So yeah, Jim likes to do the interviews, and well, I like Jim to do the interviews as well because I don't like to hear a lot of the claims. I want to come in with a clean slate and just be able to check these places out. So pretty much they claim to hear, well, see full body apparitions, shadows, objects get moved around on their own, voices, and what else?
A lot of shadow play, a lot of shadow people, a lot of shadow figures.
Do you think that's from any of the lead glass windows?
It could be. See, that's the thing. That's what we have to look at. And the same thing with the voices. We are, again, 50 yards from the ocean, what is almost an ocean. It's Lake Ontario.
Freshwater ocean.
We can hear the waves hitting the shore just from where we are right now. And it's a windy night right now. So we may have to deal with some noise contamination just from the water hitting the shore. We have to sort through that.
It's a neat place.
It really is cool.
All right. you definitely get that medieval feel. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they've done it right. Feel like you're inside of an old castle.
Feels very much that way.
Hmm. Well, it should be interesting. So hopefully you enjoyed the 360 tour of Casey Cottage, and stay tuned because the investigation is coming up. All right, now if I don't kill myself going down these
Yeah,
stairs,
be careful.
check that out. You can look right over the stairs. Jeez, watch out for that second stair.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't exist.
Oh yeah. It's narrow.
It truly is amazing, man. All this writing on the ceiling. I mean, it's wild.